Friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of the weekly playlist. It's Friday, so it's time for me to share with you guys the games I've been playing during the week, my thoughts and opinions on them. I'd also like to hear what your guys' thoughts are on the games I share with you, whether you played them or not, and how you like them. And if you guys have any suggestions on games you think I should play, let me know. You guys always suggest really good games to keep an eye out for, and I do have a list on my phone. I'd also like to hear what games you guys have been playing and your thoughts on those games lately. I've started my vacation on Wednesday, which is great. I'm able to get away from work, which is amazing because my job can get stressful at times, and I always like to be able to get away and recharge and relax. And that's what I've been doing this week. Been able to play a lot of games. I've been able to spend time with my family, and I've been able to do a little bit of game hunting. I plan to do some more. I want to hit up some thrift stores and stuff this week. So with that, we'll get started here. Now this week I've just pretty much been focused on playing NES games. There's two in particular that I want to beat. There was a third one I added in the mix that I have not beat yet, but I always get pretty far in it and then end up running out of lives. And that first game is New Ghostbusters 2 for the NES. And this was HAL Laboratories released version that was exclusive to PAL territories. We did not get this in North America. We got the Activision version of New Ghostbusters, or for Ghostbusters 2, which is a pretty terrible game. I mean, I like it better than the first Ghostbusters game on the NES, which was absolutely a terrible game. But the second was better, but just not that great. When I discovered that there was a better Ghostbusters 2 on the NES, I had to try it out. I learned about it several years ago, and when I played this game, it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. So much better than the one we got here. And I always wanted to get my own copy of this, so I went on eBay and found several different copies, reproduction cartridges of New Ghostbusters 2 that you could get. And I wanted to get one that looked more like an authentic NES game with the gray label, or the gray case. And I really like the label, and it's really high quality too. And it looks like an officially released North American game. So that's why I picked this one. But you can get this. I've seen it with the Ghostbusters, the cartoon series label on there. I've seen other labels, variations. There's cartridge variations. I've seen it in red. I've seen it in a see-through green NES case. All kinds of different ones. But I wanted to get one that looked authentic. So that's why I got this one. And this is a fantastic game. Highly recommend. If you've never played it, check out the ROM sometime. It's a really fun game. You have a top-down view. You have all four Ghostbusters. So you have Ray, you have Egon, you have Venkman, and you also have Winston, which, if you play any other games, you know Winston's not really in a lot of Ghostbusters games. So that was awesome that he was in this and you could play as him. The only thing is they made him blue instead of brown, which is strange. I don't know why, but he's blue in this game. But you could also play as Louis Tully. If you guys remember, he was their accountant, and he was in the first movie, he got turned into one of those crazy dogs. But he's in this game, so you choose two characters to play as. The first character is the one who has the proton pack and has a proton beam, and the second one is controlled by the computer, and he has the trap. And so you start out in the courthouse where the Ghostbusters were on trial, and you have to eventually make your way through it. There's several different ghosts in it. There's some chainsaw ones. There's a bunch of different Slimers in it, so it's really cool. There's some of those running ghosts. The music is really good too. But you make your way through the courthouse all the way to the end of it, and you fight the Scoleri brothers, which that judge said that he gave both of them the chair for murder, and now they came back for revenge to get him, and so you have to save him from the ghost. Now the judge isn't in the game or anything, but it's just nice that this actually followed scenes and stuff from the movie itself, where the other games just kind of added their own stuff to it. It didn't really feel like you were playing through the movie, you were just playing a Ghostbusters game. And this one actually follows scenes from the movie. So you start out with that courthouse battle. It's really fun. I know a lot of people had difficulty beating the Scoleri brothers, but I found them pretty easy, because you can lock on to enemies with the proton beam, and you can actually move your character around. Most people just stay still, and that's why they get hit by projectiles and stuff. But once you learn that trick, it makes the game a lot easier. Sometimes the computer partner can get like stuck somewhere and he can't move to get to you, which can be annoying, so you have to readjust yourself. But overall, it's a really fun game. I made it to Dana Barra's apartment, and I just was not able to beat. There were some really tough enemies. There's some of these big like ogre type guys that have a ball and chain thing that whip at you, and I just was not able to beat it. So I gotta have to play this again and just keep playing it, because this is one of those games where you only start out with a couple lives. You get hit too many times, you die, and you have to continue, and you only get like 2 or 3 continues, and after that, it's over, game over. No save feature. You get sent back and you have to start the whole game over again. So, very fun title. I would highly recommend checking out. If you want a great Ghostbusters game on the NES, get new Ghostbusters 2. You can get quite a few different reproduction versions if you want to get an actual physical cartridge, and they're not very expensive. It's like 15, maybe $20 at most. Or you could just download the ROM and play. But it's a very fun game, and I'm going to see if I can beat this, because I've wanted to beat this one ever since I got it, and I have not been able to, but I am getting further every time I play in it, so definitely want to beat that one. Continuing my progress in Kirbys Adventure, which this is another fantastic game, really easy. I am on the 7th world, and I only have, I think, 2 more levels, and then I face the final boss, which is King Dedede. Now, I beat this game many times, but I have an absolute blast with it. Fun game. If you want a fun, easy Kirby game, get Kirbys Adventure. This was so awesome when it was released at the time, especially those of us who played Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy. I absolutely love this a lot more than the Game Boy game, because this actually introduced Kirby's signature copy ability, where he could absorb enemies and take their powers, which is awesome. Like, there's a beam attack. There's one of my favorites is where you fight this little boss that is a tire, and when you suck him up, Kirby turns into tire, can like blast through the level and run through enemies and run over different ones. It's just really cool. It just sucks when you get hit and you lose your power and you have to try to get the power back before it disappears. Memorable music too. The very first boss in this game is the tree boss. It's the same one from the Game Boy game, and he's like super easy. He's a great introductory boss for the game. And there's 7 different worlds to play through, and like 6-7 different levels in each of the worlds. There's also some secret stuff to find. There's also a fun Kirby claw game where you try to pick up Kirby's, and there's a big one, there's little ones, and like the big one gives you 2 lives. If you get the little one, you get 1 life. And I always like those little mini games. They're really fun. And then sometimes there's a little like a museum area where you can go in, and it has an enemy on display, and you can suck him up and take his power. You got where you could turn enemies into ice, and you can hit the enemies back, and they're like a flying ice block, knock other enemies out. Kirby can fly too, which can make some of the areas easy. So definitely a fun beginner's game. I would highly recommend. If you've never played, check out Kirbys Adventure. I'm having a blast with it, and I should have this beat now in the next few days, and it'll be nice to have it beat again. So definitely recommend Kirbys Adventure. And then the last game here is the one I've just put in the most time in. I want to beat it, and that is Destiny of an Emperor 2. Now, this was never released here in North America. This was exclusively released in Japan only. Now, we got the first game, but we never needed to get the second one. Now, they do have a translated ROM that came out in, like, I think 2010 or 11 or something like that. And now I played this on my Dreamcast. Somebody had sent me an NES emulator disc, and it was on there, and I absolutely loved the game, fell in love with it, and I've worked on beating it. Well, I wanted to get my own copy of the game for Famicom, and I was just going to get a regular Famicom version and just have it in the collection, not be able to play it. But I found a seller on there who actually sells English translated Famicom copies of games, and they had this one on there, so I picked it up. Now, it was kind of expensive at $45, but I was willing to pay that for a game I really love, and because I'm paying for that person's time, because translating these and working on these cartridges is not simple. Just 2 seconds, you're done. You have to put a lot of work into it, and stuff into translating them. So I didn't mind paying for something that I knew I'd absolutely love. And this is a fantastic RPG. If you're a fan of RPGs on the NES, you've got to play the Destiny of an Emperor series. And Destiny of an Emperor 2 is great. I like it more than I did the first one. You have tons of different generals that you can recruit, and this is based off of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms novel, which is set in ancient China time. So if you guys have played Dynasty Warriors type of games, you'll love this game because it has all those characters: your Liu Bei, Lu Bu, Cao Cao, Sun Quan, all the different ones from that are in this game. So you play as Liu Bei, and you're trying to restore the Han Dynasty and make Shu become victor over Wei, which is Cao Cao. So he's the main enemy in the game, where he's trying to take over China and wants to rule it. And as Liu Bei, you have to stop him and try to get the Han Dynasty back to the way it was. Fantastic game, a lot of memorable characters in it. You can have up to 7 characters in your party at a time. Now only 5 of them will actually be available in battle, and you can assign one of them as a tactician, because this game doesn't have magic, but it does have a thing called tactics, which is basically magic attacks. And so the better tactician you have, you have better access to better tactics and stuff. So they have things like fire attacks, you have boulder attacks, you have water attacks, healing magic. You have different defensive spells that you can apply, like make your guys stronger, deflect attacks, counter enemy tactics, because the enemies have access to the same stuff you do, which is really cool. You run around through China. Yeah, you will run into random battles with bandits, thieves, outlaw armies, and occasionally in these random battles you will run into random generals. Sometimes there's one, sometimes there's 2 or 3 or 4, and some of them can be pretty difficult, especially as you progress further in the game. The game continues to get more difficult. The generals get stronger, their tactics get stronger, and the only way to defeat them is to keep leveling up, which there's actually, you can get your characters to level 99. I'm currently at level 46, and I'm in the last portion of the story mode, so I'm not sure how much longer I have, but I am at the final area now where I'm in Wei, and my main goal now is going to be to defeat Cao Cao. So that's where I'm at in the game. I'm having a blast with it. Love the tactics in this, and I like the characters. The dialogue is interesting, is translated well, and it's just a really fun RPG that I would highly recommend you guys check out. It is great. Another thing I like about this too, though, is that when your generals level up in this game, their troop levels increase, because they don't have health bars. They're represented as troop levels and stuff, and they do go up. Where the first game, you could pretty much recruit any general in the game you wanted, but they were stuck. If they only had 2,000 troops, that's all they ever got, and only a few select upgraded and would get more levels with their troops and get higher, and that's what they do in this game. So this one, you get somebody, recruit him and use him, and he levels up, they get stronger, which is awesome. There's different weapon types in this game too, which I liked over the first game. You have guys that use spears, you have guys that use bows and arrows, axes, swords, and then another kind of sword type weapon. And you can get stronger and better swords. You also can get stronger and better armor, because that makes you have more defense and stuff. So you can equip a piece of armor, you can equip helmets, you can equip a shield, and then a weapon. So you have 4 things that you can get. And then there's also secret weapons to find in the game, which is amazing. There's all kinds of secret stuff to discover. There's a few things I have missed, because I do have a walkthrough with me, because there are at times where you can get easily lost in this game, and I realize there's a few things I missed, but it's one I'll definitely pop in and play again. But I highly, highly, highly recommend you guys check out Destiny of an Emperor 2. It's a fun NES RPG, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. I just can't put it down. Play it every day, a few hours, put in a lot of hours into it already, and I definitely am looking forward to beating it. It is a fantastic game. So if you guys are looking for a great RPG, pick up Destiny of an Emperor 2. You have to more than likely play the ROM on the computer or something, and just because it's really hard to find one of these translated copies, which I've only ever seen this one so far. But it is a fun game. Definitely would recommend that. So as always, guys, we'll do the quick recap of the games I played this week. Talked about new Ghostbusters 2. This was a PAL exclusive, but you can get reproduction cartridges here for North America, which I would recommend. Fantastic game. Top-down Ghostbusters game. Has a graphic style like a Pokemon, old Pokemon title. And it's really fun because it actually follows the story of the movie so much better than what we got here. I would definitely recommend that. Kirbys Adventure, fantastic Kirby game, absolutely love it. Signature copyability was introduced in this game. It has become a staple in Kirby games. Definitely recommend that. And if you're looking for a fun RPG game, play Destiny of an Emperor 2. This game is amazing, and if you like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, then you'll absolutely love it. So if you guys have played either of these 3 games, let me know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on those. Alright guys, I want to thank you for watching. Take care, have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see you next time.